So what's different about how I talk about relationships compared to a lot of people is I tell you, work on yourself. Work on how you feel about yourself, how you regard yourself, your so called self concept, and your relationships with other people, whether it be a romantic partner or with family, friends, coworkers, etc. That stuff will naturally improve if you work on how you feel about your self concept. And this is particularly true and particularly relevant to romantic situations, marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, serious romantic relationships, which is what people usually want to talk to me about. How their husband or wife are treating them, they usually care about a lot more than how somebody at work is treating them. And so I say, let's look at how you feel. Because I really think that so much of the issues and problems we have in our romantic relationships or our deep interpersonal relationships are because of not acknowledging how we feel. We are scared to go there. We are scared to look at our fear, at our shame, at perhaps our sense of inferiority, or our sense of guilt. And because we don't want to look at that, because we don't want to acknowledge to ourselves that we're scared, we often have a tendency to project that fear onto our partner. That sense of not being okay with ourselves, that sense of I'm not good enough, instead of acknowledging that that's what's really going on, we project that onto our partner. And that's the kind of change that we have to look at and make when I talk about self-concept work. Maybe you lash out at your partner because when you see them talking to other people, it triggers some kind of feeling of being left out, some fear of being abandoned that's been there since you were a kid because of something that your parents did to you when you were very young. And if you don't start to acknowledge that fear, perhaps of abandonment, is what's really going on here, there's a good chance that you will unfairly criticize your partner for talking to other people, for being social and not spending as much time with you as you would like. That's one example of countless examples of how this stuff works. Self-concept work means looking at fear. Looking at the uncomfortable feelings. So how do we do that? The good news is we can do it really easily. We just have to be honest with ourselves. We just have to start sitting down or getting quiet in whatever way works for us, and acknowledging the feelings that are coming up. When my partner talks this way to other people or is doing stuff with other people, it brings up this feeling in my chest or in my throat or in my stomach or wherever it may be for you, because it's not like it's just going to be in one part. Each person's different, but wherever it's relevant for you, when that feeling comes up, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. And that what I often like to do is have you ask it what it is that it wants. What does this feeling want? This feeling in my chest? this tightness in my throat, this queasy feeling in my stomach. Be calm. Be rather objective to the best of your ability. Feel the feeling. And then ask it, what do you want? Very often, you will get an answer right away, and not a mental answer, not an answer from your head, but an answer from your heart, or from your belly, or from your throat. A direct answer. And that answer is usually telling you something. And if you don't get an answer, that's fine too. You can stay with the feeling. And you can continue to do this. You can continue to start practicing staying with these feelings. But the larger point is, if you start relating to these feelings differently when they come up, you realize it's not about your partner talking to other people. It's about this feeling in here that you have not been talking to, that probably wants your attention and is probably trying to tell you something. And that when you ask, what do you want, is very willing to answer you. Our body is usually trying to tell us something. Our feelings are usually trying to tell us something when our relationships are not working well. And the way that we change our relationships, if we take this approach, is we start paying attention to the feelings instead of suppressing them or putting them in the closet. We start paying attention to the fear, the shame, the guilt, etc. And we start getting curious and genuinely interested in what these feelings might be trying to tell us. That's how you change your self-concept. And that's how you, in turn, will naturally start changing your relationships and naturally start talking to loved ones and partners in a more compassionate way. Because you're starting by listening to your own feelings to be much more compassionate to yourself.